Okay. Good afternoon. Welcome to this UQICH Quant Innovation Challenge Lecture 1. I'm pleased to welcome you and to present our exhibitors and mentors. So we have here Sebastian Krieger, data science from Bloomberg, and also Jonathan Mahoney, global team leader, data leader of Bloomberg LP, and as Ricardo Wolfried, equity specialist, and also we have Miguel Rodriguez and Nelly. So obviously I opened the room in order to our experts tell us about the guideline of the UQICH Quant Challenge, the rules, and present to us the first lecture. Go ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, Juan. Buenas tardes. Nice to meet you, everybody. I'll be speaking in English. I'm studying Spanish, but it's better to go in English during this presentation, during this workshop. So the idea is here is to present and show the next steps of the challenge, to introduce the challenge, to give you some ideas on the finance side, and let everyone know on what we are expecting on this challenge. So thank you again for the opportunity, and congratulations everyone to be interested on this kind of initiatives. Okay, so this challenge will be split in 2 phases. So the first phase is starting today, and we are expecting, during this first step, to teach you some BQL, applied BQL using Excel, and some introduction on data analysis with Python. Okay. On the next step, called phase 2, you'll be gathering in teams and developing an ESG data analysis application using the BQuant using the BQuant environment. Okay, but what is BQuant? BQuant is a Python environment integrated with Bloomberg financial data ecosystem. So in order, to nowadays, when we are talking about financial analysis, we are dealing with a huge amount of data. So it became necessary to create a tool that is able to analyze this big amount of data. And BQuant is that solution. So we created something that when you use Python, you can run some scripts and analyze many different data sets and do many different interesting studies that, of course, a human couldn't do it by itself, So yeah, that's BQuant. We'll be talking about BQuant later. This phase 2, let me put here, is starting today with our revision with BQL and Excel. Next class, we will give you an introduction to Python and Pandas library using Jupyter Notebook. Then we are interested to explore data. So we do it using the properly library called Pandas. Then in June, teams will present the independent analysis, okay? This is the phase 1. Phase 2 is split in 5 weeks. Again, so here we are dealing with some practice data analysis. So again, we'll be working with BQuant. You have some mentoring sessions, and then on June 27, teams will share the BQL notebooks with us and a video up to 3 minutes describing the solution. Okay, so before we enter on the technical side, on scripts, on Python, on BQuant, let's understand how to analyze an equity, because we are interested, you know, in find a good investment decision. Everything that I'm gonna teach you and I'm gonna say now, it's what the market does. It's something that we also teach our clients and our clients. So here is a very applied study and very applied thing that actually happens during the day-to-day. So the market basically has two main approaches in order to analyze an equity. Part of the market, like to study a stock and equity using technical analysis. I don't know if I'm not sure if you already heard about technical analysis, but just to give an introduction, when you are talking about technical analysis, we are talking about charts, price trends, patterns, and doesn't matter the asset we are analyzing. The analyst that is analyzing that is working with technical analysis is worried only on the chart. So we can analyze FX rate, we can analyze a company, we can analyze a bond, we can analyze a commodity. But all of them shows patterns, show trends. So the main the main fields, the main indicators the analysts use are these that I listed. So we are talking about price trends, chart patterns, volume, moving average, resistance, and support levels. Okay, so it's something very visually. On the other hand, there is another side of the market that is interested on fundamental analysis. When you are talking about fundamental analysis, we are talking about understand and try to find intrinsic value of a company using some economic and financial indicators. We are, when we talk about fundamental analysis, we are talking about the sales of the company. How was this last level of sales of the company? How was the net income? Is a company profitable? How was the operating income of a company? Is that company generate cash flow or not? Note that is a little bit different than the technical analysis approach. We are dealing with financial data itself. Moreover, we can deal with ratios. We can deal with, we can start dividing some indicators like price, like the book value of the company, and we can find the famous price to book ratio. That is an important ratio, you know, in order to understand, or if you are a fundamental analyst, you can understand if a company is cheap or expensive using this ratio. Another kind of ratios are EV/EBITDA, price to earnings, etc. We also can talk about margins. So a margin basically is something divided by sales. So net income by sales is called net margin, but there are many different margins like EBITDA margin, gross margin, etc. During this workshop, we are interested in one very specific area of fundamental analysis, and is one of the most hot topics nowadays. I'm sure that you already heard about that, and we are talking about ESG data, ESG study. ESG means environmental, social, and corporate governance. But what is this? Well, nowadays, the investors are not necessarily interested. Of course, they are interested on financial data, but when you are analyzing ESG criteria, you can analyze non-financial factors, non-financial data. It's very important today to invest in socially and consciousness company. Can be a good potential of investments. Let's explore better. With the pandemics, this study has identified, so that's why it's one of the most hot topics under finance nowadays. The investors are interested to know from climate change to social unrest. Okay, due to this, and the companies are not used to report. There's something new even to the companies. So this data, ESG data disclosure is not mandatory. The most important companies are already reporting, but you will note that the amount of data regarding ESG is increasing. So another fact that indicates a trend. But let's give an example, right, of what each of this area is talking about. So environment, how does a company perform as a steward of nature? Social, we are talking about relationship with employees, suppliers, customers, etc. Governance, we are talking about board, salary. Imagine that a company is not profitable, but the salary of the board is millionaire. Do you understand that? You know, it's a governance problem. So maybe the investors could ask to the company, oh, come on, company, try to be more profitable and decrease the salary of your board. This is something that ESG is interested in. More indicators regarding ESG data. We are talking about climate policies. We are talking about water usage. In the next slides, I'll show you a very interesting chart using an environmental data. Again, social, we are talking about number of employees in the company, diversity and inclusion, percentage of women in the board of a company. Turnover, imagine a company that you see is a good company, but you know, the company has a huge turnover of their employees. It's hard. There is a problem. How is the culture of this company? And again, the governance is a very important area as well. So we are talking about, is the board independent? How is the compensation of the management, the voting rights, etc. Here is the example that I mentioned it. Here, so, okay, great. Here is an example extracted from a Peruvian company, Union Andina de Cementos. Not sure if you know, I think you may know which company I'm talking about. And this is an ESG study of water use per sales. So the company disclosed some metrics on that. And we could create this chart. Note that the chart, the trend, that there is a decreasing trend, right? So in 2009, we could see almost 500 of this unit. And last year, and this is the most recent data, we are seeing about 208. So it looks a good indicator for this company. The company is using less water to sell the same thing than 10 years ago. Do you understand? Great. Okay, with that being said, we have some objectives for this workshop and for the following studies. We want to make social responsible investment decisions. Okay, how we can achieve them? Analyzing data, and of course, every time that we analyze data, we have to use some criteria. We are gonna teach you and inform which criteria we are talking about. But the idea is to have a criteria in order to analyze data and to find investment decisions. To help us on that, we'll use BQL and use Python scripts to make the analysis and the knowledge in finance we have. Of course, I gave you the introduction. Count on me, count on our team to explain if you have any other questions on that, and use your own knowledge in finance to arrive in interesting data. When you are talking, of course, when you are talking about finance, there is no right or wrong, correct? To analyze a company is an art. You can use your own criteria. Sometimes you understand, you and your colleague can do the same study, and your colleague think that the company is cheap, and you think that the company is expensive. You can do a transaction, you can sell, you can buy from your colleague, and that's how the market works. To have a transaction, one person necessarily should think that the company is expensive, to sell to another person that understand that the company is cheap. When we are talking about financial analysis, feel free to use your own knowledge in finance to, to find your investment decision. Again, we are expecting to see some examples, from you and for your group during these lectures. And we encourage you to actively participate in our discussions and, in other classes. What on phase 2 now, okay? When we get the scripts, of course that we also have a criteria in order to evaluate them. There are basically 4 criteria that we will be looking at. First criteria is the feasibility of your script. Like, will a potential employer be able to apply our solution in the corporate environment? So it is your script will work in the real world, or it's something very theoretical. So is that feasible? Is your script easy to replicate? Like, will your little cousin be able to replicate your work? Is it innovative? How well did you build on top of what we've shown? Like, there are 500 lines in order to run that is more close to efficiency, right? Is your code readable and fast? Because the same script can, maybe depending on your script, can be short. It doesn't need to be a very, very long script. So, okay, let me give you the recipe of our challenge here. This is a kind of a guide. I think that will help you in your analysis. Of course that we are guiding you. Feel free to use your own creativity, right? But this is a recipe. It will work if you follow. In order to find an investment, a potential investment, right? The first step is to define the universe of the securities you are looking at. We are suggesting to use some indexes, like SPX index. SPX index is the index composed by the 500 most important companies in the United States. It's a good shot for you, but you can use which index you want. Select the field or fields that you want to look for insights or you want to retrieve. And when you are talking about fields, we in the next slide, we're gonna give you some suggestions, and keep in mind that we want to see for this workshop ESG fields, right? But when you're talking about fields, you are talking about metrics, about something that you want to look for in a company. So we could, for example, as I mentioned it in the slide before, the water use per sale. So we have a field, there is a field for this kind of analysis. How was the water consumption by a company? You can investigate that. You also can investigate the relationship between prices, between volume traded with that field. You can investigate the profitability of a company with some ESG data. You can explore everything you want. So I'm sure and I guarantee that the database we provide. Use your creativity in order to select the fields you think is more, feasible or you prefer. Then generate BQL and load data. You can use one field, one security, that it's called single data point. It's a snapshot. You can use multiple data points. You can use, like, again, multiple data points, multiple fields, multiple everything you want. Try to cross some idea, try to cross fields, cross different metrics. I don't know, the net income of a company is related to their water consumption, is related to the revenue, yeah, probably, is related to the number of employees, I don't know. Feel free to investigate that. And time series, we can work with different range of time, like 1 year ago, 10 years ago. Feel free to use the time series you think is better. And analyze the data. You will have many different data in your screen. Analyze and decide which is the best company, the best sector, the best, I don't know, country. Okay, this was the first step. Now Sebastian can guide us on the next step of this workshop. Sebastian, are you here?
Yes, I'm here. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks, Ricardo. So, but before we start, do you have any questions? Anyone? Regarding what we expect from you, regarding the formats for the next lectures?
Regarding the financial part, financial side as well?
Yes. Feel free to ask the question over the microphone, if you want it written. If you are not comfortable speaking in English, we can try to understand Spanish, don't worry. Did you understand anything at all?
Yeah, we understand.
Yeah, hi, good afternoon. We understand. We can yes, it's clear.
Okay. Okay, so the idea here to practice, I'm receiving some questions, like on the chat. So what is the main objective? So in the end, what we expect. So it's quite simple. It's not very difficult. These are our objectives. We want to practice using BQL. I've heard you are a specialist in BQL. You might probably know much more about BQL than we do. Actually, I do. I'm not speaking for my colleagues. My specialty is Python. And This is the whole idea, to practice, and one thing, have some experience with ESG, how to work with ESG data, and then by next lecture, and then the lecture after, lecture 2 and 3, we expect you to be able to write simple Python scripts to do some analysis. The problem you will solve some more details, like for instance, the investing decisions will be up to you to decide what investing decisions you will make. We'll just showcase some examples on how to retrieve some data, some maybe some ideas, and then you will come up with the problems you would like, or the challenges you would be interested in solving. And answering Carlos' question, so for now, you will not, I think you might be interested in BQuant, right? Can you just confirm, Carlos? Okay. Carlos just also mentioned you need to become a BQL expert in 2 weeks. I think my guess is that you are already experts. Everyone is being went through the BQL Academy, right? So the idea here is to be more practical and actually use everything you've learned. And then going back, so the idea is during phase 2, the selected teams, they will have access to the BQuant platform. For some reason, for reasons that I'm not sure how to explain, because it's probably because of the number of students, that the BQuant platform, we could only allow to make it available for a smaller group, which will be in phase 2. We can review, no, we will review BQuant now, BQL. Actually, you will review BQL as a team, and actually we can start with that. If there are no other questions regarding, we could actually start with BQL. What to expect from you, practical exercise. Great, so some of you, since we initially thought to break this group in smaller groups, so we could like be more, let's say, more productive, but let's try with a big group. I assume that you have access to the terminal and that some of you are logged onto the terminal and are able to run BQL in Excel. Am I doing a right assumption? Someone please say yes. At least 9 people. Yes, great. Because I know that, or I've heard you have like, it's possible to have 9 terminals logged on at the same time. Great. Everyone says yes. Be prepared. I like to put people in uncomfortable positions, because everybody who says yes, I might choose you randomly to ask to share your screen, if you don't mind. Because we will go through coming up with a BQL. We will build a data set using BQL as a team. So the idea here. So today we will construct our data set and prepare it for that we will analyze next week. And for that, we will select a couple of securities based on this criteria here, which is the ESG disclosure score. It is a score that's proprietary from Bloomberg, based on the disclosure the companies do yearly, and it ranges from 0.1 to 100. And it says, when it is 0.1, companies disclose a minimum information on the ESG criteria. When they score 100, they collect every data point, or actually they publish every data point Bloomberg collects. It can happen that when companies do not disclose ESG data, and then they will appear as not available to us. When the score is 0, there is no data being disclosed. We will, for the sake of this exercise, we're interested in these 4 fields, which is the water intensity per sales that Ricardo mentioned earlier. We're also interested in total greenhouse gas emissions, the total number of company employees, and the net income of a company. So, who wants to share her or his Excel screen to all of us? Any volunteers? No one? So many people said yes, and no one wants to share the screen?
Excuse me, in the Excel, do we have to already have some variables open, or you will guide us to open some?
We will guide ourselves. So the idea is to be everyone to be engaged and help ourselves to come up with a really nice data set for our analysis. But I also understand this is that if I share my screen, it can be boring for you, and in 10 minutes you might everyone might fall asleep. This is something we don't want.
I can share my screen if you want, but my Excel is empty right now.
Great, no problem. We can fill it up.
Yeah, can you give me permission, please?
Yes, I'll try. Never used it. Thanks, Junior. Oh, it says breakout rooms here. Security. Here we go. Okay, I don't have enable share screen. I just have enable waiting room.
Sebastian, we are not able to open small rooms because we haven't make the format like that, but the next lecture we can do it.
Okay, I just wanted to Junior to share his screen. Can we allow it? I might not have the proper credentials for that. If it's not possible, you can do it the other way. I can share my screen, and then you will guide me and say what I have to write. This is also an option.
Yes.
do this. Just a second. Have to move a couple of windows around. I'll be right back.
Now it's letting me share screen if you want still
Okay,
to.
I prefer. Yeah, I prefer.
Okay.
Thank you.
Can you see my screen?
Yes, perfect.
Okay.
So do you remember what the first step was on the recipe? Anyone? This is like, if you want to share it on the chat or just give a shout, feel free to unmute your mics.
I think we need to select first an equity to extract some data with the BQL builder.
Yes. So we will select the securities, the universe of the securities we will analyze.
So do we need to, did you set some a specific equity?
Do you have a specific, a favorite security?
Maybe if it's manufacturing, maybe Tesla?
We can see what Tesla has. People are suggesting NEO.
Where?
Jose Andres suggested the SPX index. Conrad suggested new US equity. Carlos suggested Tesla. And PX last.
Yeah, we can watch sales. And here we can maybe quarterly from the previous 6. Start. Actuals. Maybe like this. Okay, that's Tesla sales revenue from the last 6 quarters.
Great.
So what's the next step? What else do we need to investigate?
So we wanted to select the securities based on an ESG criteria.
Oh, okay.
Remember, I mentioned the Bloomberg score?
Yeah, so we need to investigate for maybe environmental How do we say?
In order to put the field there, you you should know at least the name of the field. So imagine you are looking for an ESG field. You can try to write ESG, only ESG. Yeah, so these are some of the fields related to ESG directly, right? Of course, that, you know, try ESG disclosure scores. This last one, yes.
Disclosure scores, okay.
Okay, now go ahead.
Do we need to go for a specific date or just raw data?
So the disclosure score, since the disclosure data is reported only once per year, when do you think we should consider?
Maybe annual, last 5 years?
Yes, maybe we can try. Let's experiment.
This is actual.
Enjoy, yes, the score goes from 0.1 to 100. Actually, it's from 0 to 100. When they report, it's 0.1.
Well, it's not.
Great, it's 16 for Tesla, right?
It's correct. What you wrote, you basically selected the 2015 ESG score because you put offset last 4, you know? So
Yes.
yeah, you could be looking at it, but I don't know if what you wanted. So in fact, Tesla had in 2015 the ESG score as 16.5.
So Jose is asking if
Maybe
that
like
result
this. Yeah,
is
you
the
got it.
average of the last 5 years.
Thank you.
Perfect. That's it. Note that this is something that I mentioned in the presentation, but you will see on practice. ESG companies only report once a year in the middle of the year. So the 2020's data is not available to the market yet. So the last data available is from 2019, okay? This is an information you should keep with you.
Okay. So
try to look for the number of employees of Tesla.
Okay. Sorry. Okay. Employment. Which goes straight growth. Number of employment. Technical skills employment. The last 6 years. 5 years.
I think this is not the correct field, Honor, just to
But let's
try. Yes.
Let's see
sorry.
what happens. The
Yeah,
idea is
sorry.
straightforward. Feel comfortable. And I would like to ask the other students, are you following what Junior is doing? Are you also coming up with your solutions? Do you have other suggestions? Feel free.
Oh, okay.
Sarah remembered the field that we suggested on the presentation. Good job.
Congrats, Sarah. Yeah.
Oh, NA. So why is it showing NA?
When the cell returns an A means that the company didn't report this specific field. So this specific field I need to investigate, but it's not related of exactly total number of employees. It's related to number of employees. I don't know, technical skilled. I don't know what this means, but it's something that Tesla didn't disclose clearly, you know? They or didn't disclose, only disclosed it, or we have like 50,000 employees. This is enough to fill the total number of employees. That is the field we are
Okay.
interested. You know?
Yes, yes.
Okay, perfect.
I'm just searching for the. Okay, so it's not under total number of employees, total employment maybe. Is that the correct field? Total employment?
It's number employees. It starts with number underscore employees.
Oh, sorry. Number employees. CSR. Okay. We're going to do it for the last maybe six years to see growth. So we're going to annual and this actual consolidated. See what it shows. Okay, so I'm going to run the. Yeah, okay.
So, and then Gianfranco is suggesting to look for the top 5 securities and use group rank. Do you think it makes sense?
Let's see.
But then, Gianfranco, rank, what will be the criteria be? Rank what field? And what 5 securities, from where?
Nice. Score.
Ah, okay. SPX or XXPS. SPX Lima. Great.
What it is? Oh.
Oh, it's the field. What was the name of the field again?
Okay. Okay, any parameters or control value. Why isn't it showing anything?
Invalid parameter. ESG score incorrect parameters. What
Probably
are the-
you should put ID. So yeah, edit all parameters. It's fine. Or ID go.
Okay. Sorry. Build. Let's make this closure score. Okay.
Perfect.
Well, that's a lot of it. Okay, we need to tweak a little bit.
So great. Is just a quick question. Is anyone not following? Does anyone have any question? What is easy? Is anyone bored?
Maybe anyone wants to share their screen too?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I tried to filter, but it doesn't allow me to open BQL. Maybe I have to do it again. Let's try. New sheet.
So let's probably keep it just for 1 year. Let's say 2 years ago,
Yeah.
2019.
Junior, try. Let's follow the Gianfranco suggestion. Try SPX EZUP. That is the SP500 for ESG. I think the results can be
Can you
on securities.
Yeah, SPS. What? I'm sorry.
SPX no
ESUP.
E like ESUP
Oh,
ESUP. Yeah, the second one. You see, SPX 500 ESG index.
okay.
Yeah, I think that's a good universe.
Okay.
But feel free to use the index you want, and everyone, you know. But I saw Gianfranco's suggestion. I think it's a good exercise. You see, let me suggest another thing.
Yes.
You see ID, return the universe. The ID, yeah, click on that, please. And click now on ID, edit defaults. It's another way to arrive there, okay?
Oh, thanks.
Then Luis has a nice suggestion too, which is filtering the results by ESG disclosure score.
So, how do we filter? Because this view, okay. It won't show data.
No permission for evaluating universe members. If you change this to the SPX index, does it work?
Let me see. Yes, it works.
Okay. So my guess is that your terminal subscription does not have access to this data.
Yeah, maybe it's only for students. It's not a full license.
My guess.
Joseph has student license.
Yeah, so can we filter the ESG disclosure? Let's say that maybe numbers above your favorite number?
Yeah, let's how do we filter this? I actually don't remember how to filter inside BQL, and maybe I can filter with Excel, but I don't think that's the best choice.
Yeah, does anyone have a suggestion? Can anyone help?
Yes, to filter.
We should have at least 48 specialists.
Okay. Filter
the security, not the name.
Add filter. Oh. Where
you have the FX.
Oh, okay. I saw that.
Great, Gianfranco. Do you want to filter by market cap?
Yeah, maybe over 40.
Okay. Nice. So we
Okay.
have a universe too smaller. Good.
Yep. Yeah, but it seems like it's going to be a really big. Maybe a little bit higher. Let's see.
Now comes the interesting question. Why 50?
Well, it's from the data I see, it's a higher number. I can maybe separate the ESG disclosure, but it seems like it's not recognizing the number because I can see a 46.1769. So maybe.
Yeah, but you're filtering by current market cap.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh.
And
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
looking at ESG disclosure.
ESG disclosure.
So
yeah.
we're looking at different things.
So I maybe should. Let's see. So in here, if I put, let's say 50, it should. 50. Okay. Now, most implement. Well.
Okay.
Why? Hmm. No. So how do we filter this?
Interesting that you mentioned bigger than 50 and we have one number with 50 there. It should appear at least one.
Yeah, maybe I put 49, but it doesn't. I feel like it, yeah. Invalid security, no sample met filter criteria. In filter. Maybe the greater just. Oh.
Guys, I need to leave for another meeting. It was a pleasure to work with you today. We see again next week, okay? Thank you. Sebastian will be hosting and give you the lessons. Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
We accept suggestions. If anyone is eager to like speak, please feel free.
Yes.
Junior is getting embarrassed, right? Or not? You're
A
doing
little
good.
bit.
You're doing well, but pretty good. Really nice job.
Thank you.
One place higher than one.
Higher than one. Okay. I could try to.
But delete the field ESG disclosure score. No, the field.
Oh, okay.
If you're more comfortable speaking in Spanish, feel free to. Don't worry. So we pretty much. I kind of understand Spanish and kind of speak. And Ricardo and Jonathan, they didn't. So feel free, don't worry.
A ver, pon preview acá. Ahí pon preview.
Pero no me deja.
Ah, no,
No.
claro. Es que, no, de ahí pon ID o name. Mejor ID.
And if you don't want me to understand, just speak fast. If you want me to understand, just speak slow. I have no problem with that.
So it's going to show me just. Solo me va a mostrar los
There's
nombres.
only 20 of them.
Yeah, let's see. This
ISG
picture has been
disclosure.
interrupted. Okay, well, we don't have values.
No, you can add the values now. BQL Field Builder. Entra el BQL, pero
Dije,
en
no,
donde
no
está
hay.
el ID, en donde está el ID. O sea, desde la celda de ID. Ah, claro.
No, creo que no me va a dejar. Ah, no, sí me dejó, ya.
Y ahora cámbialo el field. Pon ESG Disclosure Score. Ya, pero no pongas un rango, solo pon el del último año.
Ok, las año. Me va a salir en A. Quizás no hay datos del último año.
Entonces pon el pasado. Claro, porque dijo que el 2019 no hay. Entonces el del 2020. No, pero no, claro. Ponen period menos 1A. No, menos 1Y.
Sí, menos un año.
Creo que así es. No, pero
Hasta ahora.
parece que no. Ah, ya, déjalo así entonces. Sí, mejor menos. No, déjalo en offset menos 1. Menos 2. En offset menos 2. En offset, en offset.
Ah, ya. Ya, el último año no, mejor para que no salga.
Claro, a ver. Ya, ahí está.
There. Okay, let's run it.
Good. Can we change that for, let's say, bigger than 30?
Bigger than 30, okay. Let's add another filter.
Ah, you have it there. No, it's not changing the 1 to 30.
Oh, okay, okay. 30. Let's see. Oh, there is that.
Borra mejor el ID value, el field.
There are two things that can happen there. When you filter, you can also edit the period you're considering. But the data you're showing is for a defined period, right? You're showing the data from -2 until -1.
Yes.
But you're probably filtering for only the data from last year.
Yeah, because
when you go to edit in the filter,
okay,
ESG disclosure score, you can go there, edit, and then you can customize. Then you can change the period offset. Let's say from -2, for example, to -1. It's the same as exactly.
Oh, because some
Invalid parameter. Predicates.
Okay, that's a little bit rough. Let's see.
So let's just change gears a little, and we can start a new query. Do you want to continue, Junior, sorry? Or do you want to choose someone to take your place?
That's okay. If someone wants to take my place, that's okay.
I think you have the right to choose if you want,
Okay.
but I'm not sure if you're gonna make too many friends when you choose someone.
Oh, okay. I feel that maybe what's his name? Gianfranco, it's going to be a good
Do you want to
Good fit.
continue? We still have like 10 minutes.
Oh, we only have 10 minutes?
Yeah, actually we have like 15.
Okay, okay.
But unless you want to stay longer, I'm okay with that. I have no problem.
Yeah.
But from what the original schedule would be like 90 minutes. And you mentioned Gianfranco, right?
Yeah.
Gianfranco, do you want to join?
Sure.
Share your screen? Just
Yep.
simple. Great. I see Gianfranco. Great. Thanks, Junior. Very nice. I hope you liked it. Don't got too embarrassed.
No.
And you had a nice experience. It's good to practice.
Yeah, it's really good to practice.
I think the best way to learn something is actually by doing it. It feels uncomfortable at first, but then when you start getting results, it moves really fast. So what I would like to ask is to just come quickly make a BQL query where we filter by the ESG disclosure score. But then we select specific fields. So we can choose your favorite.
Okay.
Your BQL speaks Spanish. Nice.
It's in Spanish.
No problem. So we
I
will
don't know
choose our
how.
securities, right? First.
All right. So any security. I mean, I can. No, that's big. The only index I think we have access is to SPX.
Okay, let's work with what we have to make our lives easier. So we will filter exactly. But then we will filter from the last period. We have to define it. We can customize, and let's say period offset -2. And no, there we don't, we leave it okay, like this. Okay, and then we save.
Higher than 30.
Okay.
40?
Well, if
40.
we can, it's up to you. That's up to the finance specialist. So, and then we will select. Does anyone remember the fields we were interested in? I mentioned in the slides.
Water. I think it was water usage.
Yes, great. Memory, your memory are really
So,
good.
employee.
So the field name, it's actually water intensity per sales. And then total greenhouse gas, total GHG. Yes, net income too.
Total emissions. Right.
GHG
Yep.
emissions. Then number of employees, CSR. And net
Oh, there you are. CSR.
and net income. Let's see what happens.
Let's see.
I think we might need some ID, right, to get the disclosure from the previous
ID?
year. Yeah, ID and then -2. Okay. And then we play again. Great.
Some of them.
So some companies do not disclose. Nice.
Let me place in a table.
Oh, we have some experts in BQL and Excel.
Yeah. I mean, I can change. So we order by A to C. All right. There we have. Not all of them have, but I.
Yeah, this is no problem. We can work with what we have. So we have selected a couple of securities given our criteria. We have a well-established criteria. We select how big was the ESG score? Like 30, right?
40.
40.
It was. Oh,
You have to go.
there you go. Oh, it disappeared. But I think it was 30. Yeah, 30.
Okay, so we have defined a criteria, and at some point we would need to define why we chose this number. Could be 42 too. It's one of my favorite numbers. And so now what? What can we do with these numbers? We have a whole bunch of table, and now it's up to us to analyze it. What would you suggest to be a nice thing to do?
We can order there, sort them by number, but who has the lower emissions, the lower water intensity, or
Yes, great. We could group them.
for example, the
What
smallest.
else?
Well, that's negative. Then we can sort them by the water emission intensity. For example, this one has the higher new new UN has the highest water intensity.
Great. But does it say something to us? We just have a list. Okay, these are the companies that have the highest greenhouse emissions. Greenhouse gas emissions, sorry. How can we actually use this and relate it? Remember, we're doing like financial decisions.
So we can build ratios between the emissions and the net income.
Yes, we can. This is a really great idea.
For example, we order this. Um, we can order this on this, and then I hope we have the ratio of GHG emissions with net income.
Does anyone have another solution, another suggestion? Any plots that come to mind that we might see some patterns?
Maybe water intensity by number of employees.
Yes. This is something we can do.
We can drop. Can we drop NA?
Yeah, sure.
So maybe if we do this one, select all on NA, for example. So we want to assess which one has the highest income for the lowest GHG emissions. So that's the one we should invest in, right?
This is something you need to define, which is the best strategy for you to invest.
Oh,
It's hard to make choices, right? I agree, I understand. But it's there's no, as Ricardo mentioned, there's no right or wrong answers in the end. There's just the ones you believe in. So another thing that I would be really, really interested in see if there is any relationship in the greenhouse gas emissions with the net income. And not only the ratio, but actually to see if we could, for instance, make a regression between these two parameters.
We can do a regression. Oh, so if I
It's and you can see it very, very easily with a simple plot.
that's true. So if we do this and oh, maybe
Scatter plots would be nice.
yeah,
XY
scatter.
scatter. Yes. Oh, where is it?
In a while, yeah, there is.
Okay, sorry. So what is the x-axis? I think x-axis is greenhouse gas emissions. And y-axis is the net income.
No, no, styles, axis.
Axis titles.
Yeah, I think so. We can, if we compare the highest one, the highest one is between 120. Yeah, this one is yes, and this one is net
yeah,
income.
maybe you can
Can
use the names.
I use the name. I include the name in this in the chart. I don't know why. Oh, this one didn't.
yeah, but let's just take a closer look to the data points.
Okay.
Can you just see any relationship? Let's say my guess would be that the companies with the highest greenhouse gas emissions would have highest income, like pure gas, which is not the case, not always.
Right. Yeah.
You see, we have companies. Okay, we do have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 companies with greenhouse gas emissions above 16 million tons. That okay, have a considerable net income. But then we have some really interesting companies that have very low greenhouse gas emissions that have a really high net income, which is great. And we could then further analyze it and see, oh, okay, what company is that? And what market are they in? Are they in the technology business, or are they in other areas? So this is pretty much many things that we can do to analyze the data. And does anyone have any question so far? Let's scroll down. So there's option drop NA. Yeah, but income. There should be an option to drop NA, probably in the filter. You can filter where there's data.
Yeah.
For the fields. Select
Para que,
the different fields.
claro, para que incluyas los
And then
nombres,
there's
también
another.
selecciona la columna de nombres.
And then Davey is also mentioning we can see what are the most profitable by using the less amount of water intensive. Okay, this was the suggestion. Sorry, I missed that one in the chat. It's also possible to analyze correlation between income and greenhouse gas emissions. Yes, it is. And these are actually nice, really nice suggestions.
So if we do this one, and then this one,
And then yeah, have you ever done correlations in Excel?
No, only on EViews and Stata.
No.
I have done it, but I don't remember the formula.
Okay, don't worry. The idea is for you to learn Python and never use Excel again.
I mean, in Python it's easy because you have the libraries, and from the libraries you can just type it, right?
Yeah, exactly. I can guess that you know Python already, Gianfranco, right?
Some of it, I mean, I took some courses on Python, especially only for finances.
Okay, great. So you might give lots of suggestions to your teammates. And then Davey is also mentioning that there's Minitab and R. Minitab is okay, but you still have to use your mouse and click here and there. R is really nice, makes very beautiful plots, but I don't think it has a really nice or easy syntax. It's very sophisticated. Yes, Liz. Python, we could do a correlation and many other things. And we might actually do it in lecture 3. And really nice suggestions. If you don't have any further questions, I think our time is quite almost done. You can confirm it, Juan, if you want. If you want, we can stay a little bit longer. If not, we can just wrap up. Just to summarize everything.
Yeah, I think we don't have it. We can wrap up.
And please feel free to play around with it. So in the next coming lectures, we will select a spreadsheet. We will begin working on a spreadsheet similar to this one that Gianfranco is showing us. And we will start analyzing it using Python. I hope everyone is pleased. So thank you very much, Gianfranco. I will continue, just close up and share my screen again, if you don't mind. I have so many windows open here. I just have to make sure that I select the right one. Okay. Oops, no. So. Great. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed it, this part, this applied session. I'm sure if we had the breakout sessions, it could have been more productive, or more people would be sharing their solutions. And now what? Just to wrap up, what we hope that you've learned today. So we hope that now you know what the ESG, the environmental, social, and corporate governance criteria are, a little bit in more detail, like in the fields, what specific questions we ask when we are interested in understanding these three areas. You were also able to screen potential socially responsible investments from the SPX index, from the members of the SPX index, and you could also extend it to the members of any other index, considering you have access to the data on the Bloomberg terminal. And you could actually also select a universe of securities that are not members of this index. Like just pick up your favorite other securities. You have also practiced BQL and remember what you had from the previous sessions or trainings you went through already to construct the data sets that we will analyze in the coming lectures. Okay, we will start next lecture with a very, very similar table as the one that Gianfranco, he shared with us. And we will use, okay, well, before that, we have a couple of assignments for you. So since we have like pretty much 2 lectures to teach you everything you need to know about Python, it would be really great if you could access this website from Kaggle. If you're not familiar with Kaggle, it's a really, really nice interface and websites, and it's lots of material, lots of data sets, different data sets to play around. It's very popular in the data science community. And if you already know Kaggle, you might share the same opinion as mine. If you don't know Kaggle, this is the opportunity. It has 8 lectures. It has different courses for different levels. And it has a really, really nice introduction course on Python with 8 lectures. And if you're interested, feel free to go through this tutorial. Then I have another suggestion. If you're also interested in knowing more details about ESG, I've recently found this research article reviewing ESG and CSR research in corporate finance. If you want to read through it, it's like it's not that big. It's 16 pages, but in English. I know it can be overwhelming for students, especially if you are not used to. But I went through it at some point, and it's it's hard. It's actually nice to get outside of your comfort zone, and it's never too bad to practice English. And if you feel that it's quite difficult and you're not comfortable, just read the article aloud, and you feel the difference it makes. And this is pretty much the suggestions. And another thing that I would like to share with you is we will use this this tool, which is called the Google Collaboratory. It's a Python how can I say, it's a Python programming environment that is for free and available in this website. Here it's the collab.research.google.com, and just simply search for Google Collaboratory, and you will be redirected to this web page. It's we will use it thoroughly in next lecture. So if you want to play around and understand the way it works, we will for sure review it. Kaggle tutorials use Google Collaboratory as the programming environment, so it will be no big deal, no big transition. As I mentioned, it's for free. Most likely you will already have a Google account, so you will not actually need to sign up for it. It's just like click the button and go on with your Google credentials. And if you don't have any further questions, I would like to thank you. I really enjoyed it, this sharing and discussing with you everything we talked to, and hope you enjoyed it too, and that you will come back next week. It will make us very happy if you're there. It will make us very, very sad if next week we have just 25 students. I would have to take my...
Thank you, Sebastian.
Thanks,
Okay,
Sebastian.
Okay, let me close the webinar. This is a very special moment to congratulate the Global Data team from Bloomberg, because what they are doing is very transcendent. We are working with students as we were quant analysts. And the goal of this program, the Field Quant Innovation Challenge, is that you live an experience, a real experience, as you were the future quants in the industry. And something that is very important is to generate consciousness about the importance of ESG. So there is a lot of different classes assets, but we are focused in the present and the future. That is sustainability, that is E, environmental, that is G, of governance. So thank you very much. And it's important that you may not you have to attend to the next 3 sessions in order to participate in the contest to have access to a big quant. And you know, if you are the 3 finalists, the 3 team finalists, I'm going to assign the teams, because I want to be sure that you attend today, because it's the first step. If you will selected to be the 3 teams that have access to big quant, it's a life changer, because you will be able to experience and be screened in the roundtable that finish this cycle of webinars and training. And you will show your results. your innovation. So be constant and please enjoy it. As Sebastian said, this is an experience, a learning experience and collaborative experience. Like, okay, so officially I finished, I closed the webinar, and I've been in contact with you all and the global data team of Bloomberg in order to be connected and to share materials and resources. And I can send a question that you have to the global data team. So I'm going to be part of all this experience. So we are a team. Okay. So thank you very much. Thank you, Sebastian. Thank you, Jonathan, Ricardo, Nelly, and Miguel to be part of this experience. Okay. Excellent. So see you next time.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks. See you.